Good afternoon. My name is Peggy Nolte. I'm currently serving as the chair for CNEC. And I'm just going to go around. If Chris, you would like to introduce yourself.
Hey, welcome everyone. I'm Chris Berry. I am the chair-elect for CNEC. I'm at Duke and we're glad y'all are here.
And we really appreciate everyone's support, but we also couldn't do this and make this happen without some great support from the AAN. Lucy, I see you on there. Do you guys want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Peggy. Grateful to have everybody on the call today. I see our numbers we have some good numbers, so that's really good. So as far as my team, I just wanted to take some time to introduce everybody. I finally have a fully staffed team, so I'm excited about that. But as Peggy mentioned, I'm the Associate Director for Trainee Education at the American Academy of Neurology. So under that umbrella, this is one of the consortiums that we support. And so with that, now that I have, as I mentioned, a full team, I have Brielle Woff, who is my coordinator, who will be taking over as staff liaison for this particular consortium. You're familiar with Allison Perales. She has been on my team since October. I hired her virtually, so I can relate to your experiences in the virtual world. So I've only met Allison in person once. I know she does exist, not in a little box. I have not met Brielle yet in person, and I also want to introduce Brady Maleka, who started, gosh, Brady, now, I don't know, it seems like you've been here forever, but I think it's just over a few weeks. So Brady started as our program manager and will be overseeing mostly pipeline initiatives. So this is my team, and we'll be, kind of tag teaming on things just in relation to trainee education and, everything that's underneath that shop. So I just wanted to take some time and introduce everybody on my team.
Excellent, thank you. We are going to go ahead and get started. I know we all are very busy with residency interview season applications opening tomorrow. And I know all the clerkships are busy with their electives and clerkships in full swing. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our speaker. And Chowdhury Johnson is with Barrow Neurological Institute, and she is CTAGME certified. I didn't get a bio on Ann, but I've known Ann a few years, and Ann's kind of my neighbor up in the Phoenix way. And she has always been a great supporter of the AAN and of our group, and always willing to help out when questions are asked. So without further ado, Ann, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Peggy. That was very kind and always wonderful to see you and everyone else. I wanted to first of all thank the AN for this opportunity to speak and have this refresher talk for you guys. A couple of things to think about it as I start this talk. I developed this talk as a review of interview season. I know that many of us are more seasoned and have been doing this for a while, but definitely going into interview season, it's always nice to just check and make sure we're all on track. Also discuss some of the virtual interviewing protocols that are going on, and maybe hopefully inspire new approaches. Next slide. And then Brielle, thank you for helping me with this transition for all the slides too. I appreciate that. So anyways, a few things before I start the talk. I have no financial disclosures. Some acknowledgements. Again, thank you to the AN for supporting coordinator growth and really helping promote coordinators grow and network with each other. To have this connection and these the conferences that we have that go along in conjunction with the AN annual conference is really wonderful as networking and best practices. So thank you for that. Thank you to BNI and my program director, Dr. Courtney Shoes, Dr. Glenna Zeman, 10 seconds ago, they were my residents and they grow quickly into faculty. And now we have them as program administration. Thank you to Osborne Hall and my co-GME coordinator, Lisa Clark Imperial, and all of BNI for their support. And definitely thank you to all my program administrator colleagues for their support and encouragement for me to do this talk. So next slide. I wanted to start out to kind of, as we go into interview season, we want to really focus on what we should have already done. If we have not already, please make sure you update your program in ALS. There is a match agreement that comes out every single year in the NRMP, and you have to review the latest policies and scroll all the way to the end to agree to it. You have to make sure that your program director has agreed to it as well. And your DIO has opened your program. So some of those things should have already been done. If they have not been done, please do them ASAP because as Peggy said a few minutes ago, ALS opens in less than 24 hours. So no pressure to all of us, but we want to make sure that we're staying on track. Next slide. Last week and this week, as we go into opening of ALS tomorrow, you want to make sure that there are some things that you have not done. Again, if you haven't done them already, do them quickly so that you're ready to really chart your direction of where you're going to go with your interview season. You want to make sure you meet with your PD, your program director, and your recruitment team. You want to confirm what direction, what kind of applicants are we looking for? Who do we think would be the best match and best fit for our program? You want to review some of the new rules with them, guidelines with them. And so this talk is going to touch on some of those, as well as give you some resources for other places that you can look at. Next slide. The last 2 years, definitely with having interview season become virtual, AAN has submitted a consensus statement to the whole community of GME within neurology. They would like everyone to commit to virtual interviewing, and the intent is to maximize safety for both us and the applicants. You really want to make sure, especially when you're going into interview season, because interviewing is such a key component to what our program is going to look like next year and the next 3 to 4 years, depending on if you're a categorical program or advanced program. You really want to, be able to select and recruit the best candidates for your program. The AAN, is allowing people that some programs really felt like they were missing out on showcasing and showing their places in person to applicants. So they are allowing people to do a second look. However, if you do have a second look, you want to make sure it's for the benefit of the applicant. It is not something that you should be putting pressure on the applicant. Oh, we're not going to rank you unless you come out for the second visit. It is for the benefit of the applicant. If you do decide to do a second look option for your candidates, you want to make sure that you offer everything equitably and equally to all of your candidates. You don't want to pick and choose who you're going to invite for the second look based on how their interview day goes. You want to offer it to everyone who you do have come out for, not come out, to join you for your virtual interview day. Next slide. As we develop our interview day, going into it for everyone, I wanted to give you guys a couple of ideas on things that you could possibly do. You can do one-on-one interviews, group interviews, and panel interviews, even on a virtual platform. You don't have to limit some of these things that we used to offer to applicants when they were in person. You can still do a hospital tour, except that you're doing the hospital tour virtually. And, one of the ideas in doing a hospital tour, and some people think that it might be big project to come upon, even as we go into virtual interview season 2.0. You know, you can make a map of your hospital and then showcase pictures of the different areas, you know, and when we're doing everything virtually, you know, you don't have to have an applicant walk down the hall with you. You know, we all have hallways. You can just make a map and then showcase the different areas so that the applicants can see what kind of place am I going to match with? You know, what are you offering me? Another very important part that people forget about is the work-life balance and the city that you're living in. You know, for example, Peggy lives in Tucson and she has those beautiful mountains and hiking. You know, you want to showcase what your program city has to offer your candidates as well. In addition to the program and institution benefits that you definitely want to make sure that your applicants know about. Next slide. Here at BNI, we really tried to make our virtual interview day as close to our actual interview day as possible. We did this with a couple of thoughts in mind. We wanted candidates not to miss out on opportunities to engage with different areas and different groups of people. So our typical in-person interview would have a night before dinner. So instead of having the night before dinner, we now have a virtual social hour with the candidates. Occasionally it goes over the quote unquote the hour, but it's an interactive session where the candidates can meet with the residents and ask them those top secret questions that they like to ask residents when they meet with them one-on-one. So it's a very strong, I strongly suggest that places that have the ability to provide that engagement with your candidates and your residents. It's a great idea. It also allows your residents to get a slice of, you know, what kind of candidates are looking at them and sharing some details that candidates don't always think to ask a program, whereas they would ask a trainee. So make sure, if you can, offer that as an option. We start off our interview day with a program director welcome. We send them over to one of our conferences so they can see what one of our conferences look like. Luckily for us, everything is virtual right now for conferences. So it's you know, matter of sharing that link. So it's, you know, it's already kind of set up and it's not extra work for any of us, and to share that opportunity for learning as well. We, you know, we do at BNI, we do these overviews with their chief resident talking about our call schedule and our conference schedule and block schedule and how easy it is to put in for your wellness events and your personal time, PTO, and they also, you know, give that overview of the pulse and the heartbeat of the residency. It's very important for candidates to get to meet your faculty. You know, when we were all in person, you know, we could meet each other in the hallway and have a meet and greet session with the faculty and candidates. Now that we're virtual and going into virtual season 2.0, you really want to, you know, try to offer as many faculty to engage and interest with the candidates as well. Then we do our interviews in the afternoon. So we've given them a full overview of our program, and then we do the breakout sessions of the interviews. So that's our interview day at BNI. And, you know, maybe you can take some of those ideas if you're not already doing them and incorporate them into your own interview day. But we found that it's been a successful match for us and really allowed us to engage and you know, feel the level of, you know, interaction that we're going to get with those candidates. And as we go into interview season 2.0 with this virtual season, we can now see how those candidates were on the interview day and how they're engaging in their PGY 1 year. So that's really exciting data to look at. Next slide. This is my checklist of some of the items that you want to make sure that yes, you should have already made sure that you're registered with AOS and NRMP, but really as we make this week and this leap into all the AOS applications going live tomorrow, you want to make sure that you understand, and the recruitment review team knows what selection criteria you're going to be using to determine who you're going to invite. Some places are more tech savvy and they use Thalamus and AOS Scheduler and Interview Broker to help them maximize technology for the new generation. They're very technology minded. So, these programs that we use to help us organize our interview day are also equally viable to the candidates because they are so technology based these days. So don't feel shy. Sometimes moving to an electronic scheduler is a little bit intimidating, but if you just do it one step at a time, and there's many tutorials, and you have this great neurology coordinator, group that you can ask questions to as well if you're working through some of those programs to engage your applicants. Make sure that this week you want to, if you have not already, update your marketing materials. Make sure they don't say 2018 and 2019. You want them to be current salary rates. They update every year. So even though we might initially think, oh yeah, it's the same, my program didn't change that much, you want to at least review it a little bit and make sure that you're ready for interview season. Next slide. Definitely things that you're going to want to make sure that you've also prepared before you do the actual interviews are some key items for the applicants, including bios on your trainees if you have them, or a trainee list of where they came from, the work-life balance, and what kind of activities do you offer your applicants? What kind of group things do they do with their other colleagues? Required program information, institution information. I mentioned before, it's very important to share the city information that you're at with the applicants, because if they're not able to land at your airport and see your city with their own eyes, you have to be the eyes for them or the connection for them. So this is really an opportunity for you to share and showcase some of the great things that are in the city that you yourself were attracted to and live in. So every single year we want to check the NRMP because there are required documents the NRMP requires, as well as the ACGME. And the next two slides are going to go into those the definitive items. So next slide. Oops, sorry, I think we skipped one. No, never. I don't know what happened to the NRMP slide, but I can read it. So the excuse me, NRMP requires that we provide a copy of the appointment agreement that matched applicants will be expected to sign. You want to provide all institutional and program policies regarding the eligibility for appointment, which may or which should include at least expected or required academic and educational requirements. What do you require for them to be able to be a resident with you? Do you require that they have a training permit? In which case, allow them to know that information ahead of time. So if they are not eligible for a training permit, then you will not be a good program for them to match with. You want to give them the pre-employment and drug testing and background check information on their licensure and visa status. How do they obtain a visa with your program? So if that's something they need. Additionally, the NRMP requires that you collect either a signed acknowledgement that you have provided this information to each applicant, or you have to demonstrate that you have provided the requirements and made them available to every applicant. So historically, we were able to have them sign a sheet when they came in for the interviews. Now we're not doing that because we're virtually. So I'm collecting that information from my applicants via email. please confirm that you have received these items and that you have no questions about them. The ACGME has their two main requirements, that you have to provide information about their specialty board and the program aims, which we all just worked on when we submitted our ACGME annual program update. So that's something everyone should have been looking at, and that is something that you do want to share with applicants. Next slide. Items for the review team. So this is kind of my checklist of do's and don'ts. When you have a review team, sometimes it ebb and flows, and it updates every year. Maybe one of the faculty that was part of your review team last year has retired and not part of your review team, and maybe you have a new reviewer as part of your team. You want to make sure that everyone knows the things they should not be doing. Everyone who is part of your review team, as well as anybody who is engaged in interacting with the applicants on interview day, they are the face of the program when they're interacting with the applicants. So you want to remind everyone, don't ask about race, nationality, sexual orientation. Do not put pressure on them to, give them information about ranking. I cannot stress this enough. Do not make any offers. Do not violate the NOMP. They are pretty clear. Do not say, I'm going to rank you #1. Do not say that. That's bad, 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 bad. So you want to make sure that your review team remembers that as well. Additionally, we do not want to require second visits. If you're going to offer them, you can offer them, but don't, make the applicants feel pressured that they must come for a second visit in order to be considered for ranking. We look at our programs from our program eyesight and don't always think about an applicant is also working with their medical school. Maybe their medical school has requirements on people traveling to certain states, guidelines for quarantining after you travel. So, they may or may not be allowed to travel, and we don't want to put any undue stress on the applicants by saying that they must come for a visit in person. So you have to make sure that applicants know they do not have to do that. Next slide. It's great to have don'ts, but we also have a lot of do's. So, we do want to share our enthusiasm about our program. Want to be honest, transparent, share information about your program. If you are a busy program and your candidate is more of I want to read about something as opposed to seeing it in person, because they may or may not want to, some people are more tactile, some people are more visual. So you want to really share what kind of program you are with your applicants so they can be a good match for you. When you have a resident that matches with you, that their approach and their comfort level is not the same as your programs, it's really hard to get them to be engaged and grow and blossom in your program. So you want to make sure that you have the best match. Next slide. Social media. How can we not talk about social media and the impact on today's society and our applicants? They use social media. Sometimes we have group dinners with the residents, and I look up at the table and every single person has their phone in front of them. And so just to be funny, I'll send out a group message. Everyone look up, and then they're like, and that's not funny. And I'm like, we'll see, everyone got the message. I don't even have to say it. They are so engaged in social media and electronics and talking to each other, and they have group discussions on, oh my gosh, have you gone on this rotation? It's wonderful. Have you considered this as this as a person, as a great teacher? They talk amongst themselves so quickly and using social media to their advantage. Instagram, if your hospital and your department are able to have an Instagram page, a Facebook page, a Twitter page, and engage with your applicants that way, it's wonderful. Some places have guidelines by their marketing department, so you may need to run things by your marketing department. Whatever you do, you want to make sure it's sanctioned by your program and your institution. You know, you don't want to represent and be the face of your program without having everybody's buy-in and okay. As the face of your program, there's things called hashtags, which are those little, you know, cross tags we see. If you're doing a Twitter post or an Instagram post, if you do those hashtags within the body of your text that you write in there, then when people do searches on those particular words, your post can come up on their search. And that's a great way to advertise very freely and cheaply, and really showcase your program, some of the things that you're doing. So we have Twitter has worked very closely and you know, offered these options for us to use, and I think we should really take advantage of it if we can. So next slide. Items to definitely share with your applicants: benefits, salary, parking. People don't always think about meal stipends. I know I'm preaching to the choir, talking to all of my colleagues about food with residents. If I want a resident or any of my faculty to join me on anything, I'll provide food. So food is a great topic for them. They want to know how much food they're going to get when they're on call. Share that information if you can with them. It's really, really important. They don't realize it at the time, but educational budgets and support, those are the lifeblood of their you know, support for their external growth as well. So you want to share that information with them. As we did our ACGME annual update, one of the questions, you know, they addressed with us is our strengths and weaknesses. As we are currently doing our annual program evaluations, our APEs, they want to know about our strengths and weaknesses. Share that with your applicants. I mean, it couldn't be any more seamless, this whole process of thinking about how many things we do great after doing an ACGME update and an annual program update, and then going to interview season. It's almost like, hey, we had 2 run-throughs and now we're talking to our applicants. So it should be all seamless right now. Faculty accessibility, you know, are you a program that's, you know, only a kind of Monday through Friday 8 to 5, and your faculty, you know, kind of engage during the typical work hours, or are they 24/7, or is only the person who's on call that day as the supervising faculty the accessibility? You want to let the applicants know, you know, the level of engagement. And again, I can't stress this enough: city features and attractions. So next slide. This slide is just to give you some of the many ideas of things you can share. Curriculum, attendance encouraged, what places people have gone to, what are the other advances that they can, subspecialties that they can get exposure to, you know, the autonomy of the program and how they progress. All of these are details that you want to share with them during your resident engagement with the applicants. And when you do your overview of the program and the benefits, you want to talk about what is your specialty board pass rate. You know, do your residents go to fellowships that they want to go to? Oh, sorry, the audio, I'm sorry. Can everyone hear me? Just got a chat that the audio is bad. So again, after this talk, all of these slides will be available for you guys to view afterwards. So, and if anybody has any questions, you know, anyone can reach out to me. My email is out there, as well as Peggy and Christine and Ann all have it. So if you have any questions afterwards, I am here for you guys. Next slide. Deadlines. Most important as I wrap up this talk, do not forget deadlines. They are drop dead deadlines. So after these deadlines pass, you cannot change things. So quota deadline, if you're going to stick at recruiting 3 residents this year, or if you're recruiting 10 residents, you want to make sure that your quota is correct in the NRMP by their deadline of January 31st. If on February 1st you have a change in quota, is too late. Make sure that you stick to those. Rank order list. It opens on February 1. So hopefully on February 1, we've all had an opportunity to do several interviews and found some candidates that would be great matches for us. So we are all ready to do a rank order, but March 2nd, make sure you get that list in on time. A couple of years ago, I even had my PD changing the list up until 5:50 and the list was due at 6:00. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. So make sure you get that rank list done and certified ahead of time. Now, as NRMP is very strict about making sure the PD has certified the list. So make sure that, if there are changes to your list, that your PD certifies it again. And then on match day of March 18th, we all have cocktails and celebrate and talk about how great our interview season went. But any questions, let me know. And I will turn it back over to Peggy. Thank you guys for this opportunity.
Well, thank you, Anne. Let's see what time we're at. I think we have a couple minutes for questions. Are we okay with that, Burrell?
Yes.
So does anyone want to put a question in the chat, or? I think this was a great reminder, Anne, of did I do this? Did I do that? Am I ready for this or that? So that was very concise and a lot of information in there.
It's also going to be available. I believe Brianna is going to email it out to people after the fact. And that way it's a great checklist for us as well.
Here's a question in: how do you discuss program weaknesses with your applicants?
So to me, at BNI, some people may perceive that our program may be weak because we're a busy program. And so I bring that up as one of the first topics I bring up with people is that we are a busy program. And my personality is I really enjoy being a busy program because I'm not one of those type of people who likes to just kind of read a book and sit at my desk and look cute, which we all do already. But I like to really get engaged and jump in and be busy. Sometimes I get so much into my projects that I forget about outside things. So to me, a weakness to somebody may be a strength to somebody else. And everyone has different viewpoints. So I just really, be open about it. So.
Another question here from Leah. Said, I am new. What information do you send the applicants virtually? Are you sending anything in the mail?
So what we did last year was everything was 100% virtual. And we sent all of our marketing materials, we sent it to them through email. We discussed this year because everyone is going into, I like to call it pandemic 2.0 year, and neurology I've found is very tactile. We like to touch things and look at things. So for us, we're discussing sending like a brochure, the Phoenix magazine out to people, and whatever it is that you do, please make sure you do it equitably and equally to all of your applicants. So if you send a brochure of Phoenix to one applicant, you want to make sure you send it to every single applicant that is interviewing with you. You don't have to send it out to the 7 million people applying to your program, but everyone that is applying and interviewing with you, you want to send them all the same information. So certainly things that are not considered swag, because some places have no swag rules and guidelines. Things like the city guide for your city, that is not swag, that's just informational. If you have a magazine about your program or even a brochure about your program, that is not swag. That is just informational marketing materials. So those kind of things is open to everyone, and they can also get that information virtually. So we are not giving them anything from BNI that is considered, that could be a conflict of interest. So
I think there's some more comments going on in the chat.
okay.
Are we just confirming? Are we out of time for questions here? Burrell? Let's see, 1:30.
Yeah, it looks like we are out. We wanted to start the work group update soon, but I'm sure we can take the questions and email them after so that.
I also encourage you to go to our Facebook page. If you join our Facebook group, this is a great place to share your information. And especially new coordinators, please reach out on other people. We're happy to share that information because the first year I was clueless. Maybe even the second year. So I encourage you to do that. So again, thank you, Anne. This was a very, very great presentation. And let's see. One more question Rebecca has in here. If second looks are allowed in virtual only season, how is this equal to all applicants? I'm just curious how others will manage this.
So you want to be very, there's many articles that I came across as I was working on my talk about being equal for all applicants. You can offer it to all applicants. However, do not expect that all applicants will be able to make it or use that as part of your ranking. So in order to be equal, you have equally offered it. However, don't negate applicants because they did not go to it. So you want to be very careful when you do a rank list that you are doing it equitably so that you're not putting more weight on people because they did come. Because some people are not able to come because of, I'm telling you, the different quarantines that may be going on with the pandemic. You know, this is not just people, you know, socially distancing or not traveling because of finances. They're not traveling because of guidelines that are put upon them by families, by their employments, by their spouses' employments. There are reasons why somebody cannot come out for a second view, and you don't want to penalize them based upon those things. So, for instance, what we're doing at BNI is we're offering the second look for people to come out in the beginning of February if they want to come out and see our facilities. And that way we have finished all of our interviewing and we've already pre-started, you know, our rank list, you know, based upon the actual interviews. So you want to really, you know, focus and make sure that you're doing it as equally as you can. So I'll close out on that and leave it up to you, Peggy. And Christine.
Thank you. Again, thank you for that, Anne. And I encourage everybody to talk outside of this because we are strong in our numbers and I think everyone is very much willing to share information. We're going to move on to our CNEC work groups. Do we have updates here from either from the coordinator communications work group?
I believe Melissa has a quick update for us. Are you on, Melissa?
Yes, yep. I just wanted to share a couple of the projects that we are working on. One is it's actually a couple of mentor lists, one for residency and fellowship coordinators, and then one for clerkship coordinators as well. Peggy helped us send out a call for volunteers through the listserv, and Chris was able to post that up on a Facebook page as well. But we kind of have different content areas that newer coordinators may need, you know, guidance or information on. And we had a lot of, I was very happy at how much interest we had for those lists. So once we get them filled, we are hoping to get those reviewed and posted. A second project we are working on is we're actually working on revisions to the Neurology Residency Program Coordinator's Handbook that's currently posted on the AAN. It hasn't been revised since 2017-2018 academic year. So we are running through that and trying to update. We are also reaching out to the authors of a Clerkship Coordinator Handbook to see if we can get an update on the status of that and see if we can get a date of when that might be completed as well. And then our next meetings, we're going to be focusing on wellness resources for coordinators and career advancement. And that's scheduled for the middle of next month.
Great, thank you. Those handbooks are so important. They we have a new coordinator, I literally just say, here, you need to go to this website.
And before we move on to the next slide, I just wanted to connect with you all about our open election for the 2022 through 2024 chair-elect position. So yesterday I sent out an email that included the candidates' names along with their application materials, a description of the role, and a voting poll. So if you didn't get that email, please let me know and I can make sure that you're included on it. But please do vote by October 4th. That's when the elections poll will close.
And just a little bit more information on that. So I'm currently serving as your chair for the remainder of this year, academic year, I'm going to call it. And then Chris Berry will take over as chair and for a 2-year term, and I will become past chair. So I won't be going anywhere. And then our chair-elect will serve a 2-year as the chair-elect, and then 2 years as a chair, and then 2 years as a past chair. So I know it's a big commitment, but I have learned so much. So thank you for those that have come forward and put your name in the hat, and please vote. Please take a moment and respond to the email about that.
Thank you, Peggy. And then we have some AAN updates for you all. I want to start with bringing your attention to our awards and scholarships. We have a lot of awards and scholarships available, and those many of those are closing on October 28th. So please encourage folks to apply, nominate people, and just spread the word. And then we also have some upcoming events, namely the CNCD Conversation Corner. That's taking place today from 5 to 6 p.m. Central Time. The AAN trainee trivia is also taking place today from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And then we also have a virtual lecture series that will be happening on September 30th from 11 a.m. to noon, also Central Time. And then the Student Interest Group in Neurology registration has reopened for the current year. So please make sure to let your people know. And then I will be following up with links to these events and our awards and scholarship page. So thank you. Does anyone have any questions? I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Oh, thank you, Allison.
I think we attempted a couple months ago to have a presentation on the student interest group for those that are new. So if anyone, I'm going to just know another ploy here, Chris, if anyone is interested in sharing in an upcoming session about their student interest group, or we could tag team it with a couple of people, it's a great opportunity to invest in these future neurologists and really get them involved in neurology early. So if someone has a great way to share that, would love to have someone present on that.
Okay.
Thank you, Rebecca, for that segue to new and old business. So yes, as of now, the annual meeting will be in person with also a virtual component. And please, Allison, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would like to put the call out there to you guys, because these are great sessions to learn from you guys. If you have something you'd like to share or a topic you'd like to see tackled, please, and this goes for both. We don't know what sessions we're going to have yet. We don't know how many we're going to have, but This is for, residency, fellowship, and for clerkship. So student, the whole gamut. So if you have either any sort of idea or something you would like to present on, please, should they email Brielle or should they Allison?
Yeah, they should email Brielle, and then we can try to keep a list of ideas as we get closer. And there's Brielle's email in the chat as well.
So we are running a little ahead on schedule for a change. Wow. So does anyone have any new business they would like to bring up? Thank you, Rebecca, though, for that about the conference. Yes, Anne.
I did want to ask a question about the in-training exam, because I know that there was a Facebook discussion about it, but maybe we can bring that up here about the writing exam and how it's going to be proctored this year. Some people had some questions about that. And then I did have an answer about the, to go back to the talk about second visits. If you offer the second visit as more of an open house, then it allows people to understand that it's not being used as part of their criteria for ranking. It is just an open house that they can go visit that open house and look at it. So anyway, so those are my two things I wanted to bring up.
Excellent. That great way to put that. So also I want to put out a call to speakers, if anybody wants to present, as Anne did today. If you have something you'd like to present on or an idea you would like to see, we're always open to that. Chris and I met recently and talked about a lot of ideas. So we'll be putting some ideas out there and looking maybe for speakers if we don't have those. Anything you'd like to add to that one, Chris?
No, but I know that we do have a topic for next month's meeting. The right exam is going to be the topic of next month's meeting. So yeah, hope you'll join us for that. And yes, any suggestions that anyone has for things that they'd like to have presentations on, please reach out to us. And also for the annual meeting, as Peggy mentioned, we'd love to get your feedback and comments of suggestions you'd like to see at that as well. So
Melissa, are you still looking for any volunteers for any of the work groups? Or are you good at that point?
If anybody, you mean if anybody wants to join the group?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, if anybody wants to help us, please email me, let me know.
and Melissa, did you send something out about the mentors?
Yeah, Peggy did for us. It was just a call for volunteers. We have, like I said, a residency and fellowship mentor list and a clerkship coordinator mentor list as well. We kind of broke it down by topic. So coordinators that were interested in volunteering could, volunteer in the areas they felt comfortable in. So if you're interested, if you could please email me and let me know, we still have room.
Okay, I don't recall getting it. So that's why I'm just trying to go through my emails. I'm missing a few emails. So thank you.
If anyone is a clerkship coordinator, I haven't had many, I haven't had much interest for the clerkship coordinator mentor list. And I'm not sure if there's many clerkship coordinators on that listserv, or if maybe there's a different, way I can get that information out to them. Anyone knows?
I need to just look and see who's on the listserv. I'm a clerkship coordinator as well, as well as fellowship. So yeah, I just don't recall getting anything about it. So I will be happy to see if I can't see who all the, we'll have to just look at our list and see who all that was sent to.
Okay, I can send you also.
Perfect.
just email you the list. And then if anyone's interested in joining the group, I put my email in there in the chat as well.
Great, thank you. So if, I assume you're here today is because you received an email. So if you are not regularly getting emails from the AAN, please let Brielle know, send her your email address. It's one of those weird things that we haven't had a great place because some of you have 5 coordinators, some of you have 2, and the current listservs at the AAN just can't accommodate everybody just because of how the setup is. So our great behind the scenes team there at the AAN has we sort of made our own. We took 2 different sort of lists that we had and we combined them into one. So you can send it that way. So does anyone else have anything else? I don't have a date for that next session. Is there a date set, Allison?
No, so it is based off of our AN staff, Lynn, and so she will be coming and presenting, you know, what the right is. And then that is your time for anyone to ask questions, clarifications, for your own programs. And so I think we're still working on scheduling a date with her, but yeah, definitely next month for sure. Great.
So just stay tuned for that. We'll send out as soon as we have it. And if that is it, we'll give you back a few minutes of your day. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate all the participation. And again, thank you for Anne for sharing your info with us. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.